Let me record this dream. Yes, I was doing something. It seems like I'm at the kitchen or something. And the place is a small place. And the door of the house is just beside me. That means I'm doing there, but the door of the house is just at about the same place as me, but it is situated on my right. And then suddenly I heard through the door a loud sound. It's kind of a very scary, loud sound. So I thought that whoever is that will come in. But then it seems to not come in. So I go to the front, nearer to the door to have a look at what is happening out there. So as I look at the door, the person is moving away and is going towards a gate. Okay. And I was kind of curious. What does he look like? Kind of curious. So I walk out of the house. So as I walk out of the house, the person turns around and began to move forward. And as he moved forward, the sound becomes very loud. But when it was further away, it was beautiful. Okay, it was beautiful. It's a person. But when it gets nearer and nearer to me, I was getting scared because of the sound and the speed of movement that he's taking. So I withdraw back. So when I withdraw back, the person also kind of withdrew back. In a fast interpretation of this, one thing I noticed is that the door is actually at the same position with me, but on my right side. So the door is open when I'm facing the kitchen. And it kind of feel that I was kind of naked at that moment of time. And I was doing something. And when the sound that I hear, as I got a bit scared. So as a result of which, the sound withdrew backwards. So I wanted to go and see what's happening. So when I go and see what's happening, then of course the encounter is a bit different. Why? Because now I'm seeing. And so when I'm seeing, I'm sawing an image out there. And then when I see that image, by going out of the door, the image turned towards me and approached me. And so I felt a greater sense of fear because now the image is approaching me. But previously, it wasn't like that. I was inside the house. But when I'm inside the house, the door was where I am. I'm facing here, but the door is open here. Right? But then when I turn to look outside, through the door, then I saw the person that's outside. But then that person at the beginning was actually moving away. It's only when I came forward and moving out of the house, it apparently seems to be that person approaches me. For sure, I need to record is that for the first time, I'm seeing an opposite image of me on this video. See, when I scratch this side, actually it's not this side that I'm scratching. I'm scratching on this side when I am actually facing out. But when I look at the video of me, I'm looking at an opposite image of me, but not only that, my action is a bit different because in actuality I'm on touching my left, but when I look at my face, I'm touching my right. That's right. I'm using my left hand to touch, but on the video, if I'm looking at that person is using the right hand to touch the right side of his face. It's a totally different thing when I see. But if I don't see, it's a different person that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with myself. But when I see, I'm not exactly dealing with myself, I'm dealing with an image. One thing is clear, when the door was on my right and I was just working on the kitchen, the noise that I'm hearing, I'm afraid, and it seems like that noise is coming from me, right? Because it's in the same direction as me. But when I turn to face that other person through the door, the noise is no longer coming from me, but it comes from the other person whom I come approaching me from the other side. Notice a drastic difference has taken place. It is very clear that I am the causation of that sound, because the sound that passing through the door is in the same direction as me. Only that it is on my right side. It's at a deviated angle, but it's in the same direction as me. But when I turn, that's the problem. I turn because I wanted to see somebody. And when I wanted to see somebody, somebody appears in front of me. And that somebody which appears in front of me doesn't appear to be from me. It is from the other guy. And that's what is happening. See, a lot of us is turning our direction. We are not in the same direction as our true self. We turn the direction in order to face another person that apparently appears to come to the side, because we wanted to see. But we wanted to see, the encounter is totally different from the encounter where it is my own sound, my own voice that is troubling me. It's very clear. Our attempt to know or to see is failing us. We're getting wrong ideas and understanding and wisdom when we attempt to know or to see. Gosh. When I'm just hearing a voice, it's in the same direction, coming from me. But if I want to see, it appears to come from the other side. Gosh. This is where the difference is. When I hear the voice, I don't know who is speaking. It is like from my own voice. But when I attempt to see the voice, then I'm getting it from outside me and not from where I am. In this dream, something interesting. When I was inside the house facing the kitchen, I felt I was naked. But when I turned to face the sound that came through the door, I didn't feel myself naked. So in other words, nakedness is actually being where I am. Whereas if you dress up, you're actually looking at something through the door. And I barely see anybody taking clothes off in the market or outside places.
So everybody is actually thinking that whatever is coming to them is actually from outside and not from where they are. Yes, this is the greatest lie. Am I not right to say that it's the greatest lie? Because all our life we were trained to think that everything comes from outside us, but in fact, it's the voice from inside us. So what I'm thinking right now is that, let's say there's a pain at my back. So that's what I see. That's what I feel. So in order, that's what's happening when I'm looking behind the door to the outside. But actually behind all this is a voice. It's a voice that actually spoke in the same direction as me. Yeah. So perhaps what this dream is trying to tell me is that no doubt I can sort out the problem by self-abasement with an outside force. No doubt I can actually match to the frequency of an outside force. But actually I can also match to the frequency of the voice that is coming from my own direction. And this voice that is coming from my own direction is not the pain. It is something else. It's the beat that I'm having inside me. It's the voice within that I need to sort out too. We normally do the sorting out by talking to someone, taking a pill, or rearranging the world outside. But by doing so, we are taking a step in space-time. But what is interesting and important is perhaps we don't need to do that. There's an inner space-time that we can sort out with too. Yeah, we can match the frequency of an inner space-time and go deeper to an inner space-time until we reach me. Because the real place of truth is me, and me is always truth. You see, lately I discovered something very interesting. I noticed that when the space-time increases, there's a lot of problem. The space itself increasing. Just like when a person gets old, the space-time increases. So there's an apparent lot of problem because the end and the beginning is far apart. But when we reduce space-time, life is much clearer. When space-time gets smaller and smaller, life makes much clearer. That's when the boy comes into the world. The boy is the smaller space-time, and that's why he doesn't see a problem at all. So now the purpose of life is actually to reduce space-time to a smaller distance from each other. Isn't that right? Yeah. And the way to reduce a smaller space-time is to go deeper and deeper to discover a space-time that is nearer to the speed of light, and nearer to the observer, nearer to the voice within. Dreams telling me is something very interesting. You see, when I face the enemy at the gate and seeing through the door with my eyes, the person that is watching at the gate, the person that is watching the person at the gate are not me really, because it's the opposite of me. Gosh. Me is when the voice and me are on the same side. The voice is in the same direction as me. That's the me. And the voice may be disturbing, but it is me. But the one that is talking to the other person at the gate is not me really. It's the opposite of me. So the dream is actually telling me that the way to sort out my life is via the voice and not via the sight. You see, when Israelites heard the voice of God, they were frightened, but that's the way to sort out the voice. Whereas Moses was able to do that, but they were not. They were just seeing the voice. And that is why they couldn't sort out the problem. It's interesting It's that the voice within them, which is the true voice they are frightened about. They prefer to see what's outside them with another person that is inside. But the voice that is within, they're so frightened. But actually the voice which is within is in the direction of their problem. They need to sort out that voice. Sitting here and I'm trying to hear the voice that speaks within me. And it's true, the voices that speak within me. But not thoughts. That's the most important distinguishing fact. If I'm just observing thoughts, I would be drawn by space-time. But I need to observe the breath movement. That's the voice that pushes me within. That's right, that's the voice I need to hear. The dream is emphasizing the fact that if I'm just merely thinking, I'm actually participating in an anti-thought. It is of no purpose. Solving the anti-thought is of no value because the person who is sorting it out is not exactly me. It's the opposer to the opposer. So I should sort out my breath, but that is in the direction of my voice, in the direction of my will, in the direction of the problem that apparently is being faced right now.